Hello and welcome. Hope everyone's doing alright. I'm doing absolutely fine. Away for a long weekend tomorrow. Was just about to cut the grass, but it started raining, so thought I might just touch base a bit, just show you what I've been up to before I head off and a few plans going forward. So first of all, the newest member of the plant family we have out here is the Wollemi pine. Very nice. I've just potted that up to the next size up. It came with a little care pack which has information, some fungi for when you put it in the ground, and a certificate of authenticity. This thing will cost you 100 of your English pounds. It's about 2 foot high, but you can just see the form on it is very nice. Very, not only does it look Jurassic, but it is from the Jurassic. 200 million years old. The fossils have been found on these, and it was only discovered in 1994 in a canyon or crevasse or something like that in Australia. So yeah, I think they have been hard to get hold of, but I seem to see them around a fair bit, so I take it that, you know, they're obviously been propagated and whatnot since then. So the biggest takeout I had from the book was it literally had a line in there saying, if you buy this in the end of August, do not put it in the ground until the next spring. So that's what I'm going to do. I've potted it up. I'm actually going to dig the hole out. We're going to have a look in a minute where it's going to go and prepare it this year with loads of drainage and you know, stuff to rot down over the winter, and then I'll just place that pot in the hole for now, and then if it gets cold I can just take it in inside. But yeah, it looks very lovely. Really looking forward to seeing what it can do, and hopefully I won't kill it. So you may also see another thing I've been up to, apart from that big old slug down there in the bottom. Just noticed that. I'll be careful not to stand on him. He's heading over. There's no plant over there, but he's heading over that way, so I don't know where he's going. But yeah, you can see I've potted up these two pots at the bottom of the fence post with a couple of the Nephrolopis I've had. So because these seem to sort of send runners off, I will put some climbers in these two eventually next year, probably next spring, so they can climb up the fence post and onto the trellis. But if those two Nephrolopis spread by runners and sort of, you know, not seed themselves, but you know what I mean, like, you know, end up with 6 or 7 plants in each pot, that would look really nice, I think. And then just the climber coming out of the middle of it. So yeah, that's what we'll do. In other news, the wife decided it would be a good idea to clean the bin out on the grass with bleach. Yep, clever girl. And yeah, other than that, I've thinned out the bananas, especially those ones there. It was mainly because it absolutely tipped it down, but nothing in that bed actually got wet because there was too many. A lot of the leaves, I don't mind them if they're broken, like I'm trying to think of them, like a couple of those ones are there, sort of where they're sort of a bit bedraggled, like the one by the slide. I don't mind them. It's when they actually snap that I cut them off. So I've cut a few of them off, especially the middle one. Cut them out there. You can see I've taken the pups off. They're too big. They do that when you take the pups off. Those leaves won't recover, but I'd be surprised if the next leaf that's just coming out isn't out in a couple of weeks time, so they will recover. Yeah, I'm not looking to do anything with them. If they survive and someone wants them, they can have them. So yeah, other than that, you may remember on the last video I said I was going to buy the wood to put on that bit behind the insetti over there, that little panel behind the Tetrapanax dead center, and just continue that fence up so I could do the lighting. But I was sort of half thinking about the pergola as well, so I've actually done that little section, the top half of the fence over there, as you can see, with a little bit of the trellis. The reason for that is that I want to get the structure for the pergola done ASAP, and what I need to do is the fence post that's got the ferns in it. If you follow the irrigation across to the fence post that's got the, you know, where the irrigation tucks itself down, where that bit of batten is, that's leaning that fence post. So I want to jam a big bit of wood in there to force the fence post up straight before I do much more. And then I thought, if I'm going to do that, I may as well just run the bit across the top and do the bit for the fence there. So that's the plan of action for that. Yeah, so that's all I've been doing really. Other than that, short term wise, so yeah, this Wollemi pine just there is going to go where all this dump of rubbish is, not the rubbish, the old potting soil next to the insetti where those old conifers that I couldn't rescue are. Yeah, because I need to prepare that hole, because what it is, when I was digging around all the garden, I dug down about 2 foot everywhere. When I hit some hard clay or really solid clay, because I knew this whole area here was going to be a patio eventually, which it will be, I dumped all the hard clay in here, which means that it's not going to drain particularly well. So I'm probably going to have to dig down maybe 2 or 3 times size the hole that's there, fill it with gravel and manure and compost for now, let that all settle in there over winter just with the pot in there, and then when I go to do it next year I should have an idea. You know, if I've got the pot inside and it's raining and the thing fills up with water for 2 days, then I'll probably have to think about putting it somewhere else, or maybe raising it up or putting it into a mound or something. Or if it all drains very nice, I know it's okay and it's had 6 months for all the organic stuff and worms to work their way into it and things. So yeah, what the plan is short term wise is just to dig a couple of the flower beds out the front, take all that old pot and stuff out. That's just stuff out of old pots there, so it is pretty good soil because not a lot of it's grown and been spent, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm going to chuck all that into the front garden, make a flower bed out there, make it all, you know, so it all sits in there over winter, which would be good for planting up next year. And then I can just prepare the hole, stick the Wollemi pine in it over the winter and take it inside if need be. Other short-term thing is just to finish the wiring on the fence. If you look at that back fence where the Pilostagia is that's flowering, we'll get there shortly, but there's 2 horizontal wires running across. So I'm going to continue them over towards the insetti, and then over the other way where I was just looking at the trellis behind the seating area, carry it along there, and then put some vertical ones in as well. And then that'll allow me to do my last thing of the short term, which is going to be get the climbers in finally. So behind the Tetrapanax is going to be 2 Clematis almandii, 1 to cover the fence, 1 to cover the big waterfall that I'm going to put over where the barbecue and all those seats are. And then over here to the left of the fascia and to the right of the fascia, put in a couple of Hydrangea Samanii, and they can then grow up there, and then that'll mean I've got climbers everywhere. The only other thing I might do, as stated last time, is because I've raised up the trellis to marry up with the top of, to marry up with the top of the permanent trellis, I've got myself a nice big hole down there. So on the left hand side I'll probably put a Trachylospermum jasminoides in there, and that gives me a nice little spot there for something sneaky to go in behind the Nephrolepis. So yeah, it's just going to be about preparing. I'm also going to do some moving around. Like I said, this Atrata isn't doing particularly well in there. You can see how off colour it all is. So I'm going to take that one out, and then I'm going to take this Aphenis out at the back because it's getting too big, and swap them over effectively and see what happens with that. Or I might shove that Atrata out in the front garden for now because it's nice and shady out there. So perfect for ferns. Yeah, other than that, we may as well have a quick whiz round while we're here. So not too much going on there. It all looks very nice and vibrant, as it were. Everything around here is doing all right. Lophosaurus is still not growing out of this one here. It's actually fallen down. I was hoping that if I had it resting on this, it would sort of trigger it. It would trigger it to start growing again, but it hasn't. So I don't know whether the growing tip got damaged on that or not. But it's really weird because this one here is still growing. So it's not like it's just stopped growing, it's just grown in a different direction. So maybe I messed it up when I changed all this around here, but who knows. Yeah, other than that, like I said, freed up a bit of space on this bed just for it to get some water through. What else have we been doing? Oh yeah, this Pilostagia verbenoides is now growing nicely. You can see the spiders have caught on that it's a good place to have their webs. There have been loads of bees on this just constantly. There's probably at any given time, apart from when it's raining like it is now. There's probably about 8 of them, 8 bees on that. The other one over there hasn't started flowering yet, but I guess that's because this one gets, that literally doesn't get any sun at all, that thing, whereas this one here does get it through till about 12 o'clock. But yeah, always looks really good after it's sort of rained, or while it's raining, doesn't it? This frond for this cyathea, which was going straight up a week ago, is opening up. Yeah, they kind of open like the tassel ferns. These, you can see they sort of unfurl in one big one up the main spine, and then all these little ones unfurl off it, and then it sort of goes a bit tassely at the end and then straightens up, so quite nice. Yeah, decided to chop that bit off the fatsia. Just got fed up with waiting for it, and I thought it's probably doing more damage than it's worth, so I just chopped it halfway down for now. I might hang something off that, like a little you know, like a dragonfly on a string or something like that. But the top one looks okay, colour still looks not too bad. Nice snail right up there. So, yeah. It's not too bad today because it's raining, but this thing is still really infested. So I'm keeping a close eye on it. I'm going to leave it because this thing's deciduous, so it'll hopefully, when it starts dropping its leaves, I'm going to just chop them all off and then just keep them well out the way, unless any scale bugs attach themselves to the fatsias, in which case then it will be DEFCON 1, and I'll just get rid of it all, chop the branches and see what happens. So yeah, going on from there. This cyathea is still not quite far out yet. You can see it's going some. So that's been about 4 weeks that's taken to get from down there all the way up to the top. So my estimates might have been wrong. It might be because that hasn't had as much sun as it has done, but you can see how big these fronds are. It looks really good. Dixonia the same, sending out some new fronds again. Most of the ferns are sending out their second flush now. On here, fatsia is all tied in pretty properly. I might space it out a bit more, but I think that looks really good there actually, so I'm pretty happy with that. Long may it keep growing. And yeah, so medium term wise, what I'm really thinking of is just running the oversaw heating circuit out just to where I need it to, just so it's ready if I need it. You know, because it's going to be cold in a few months time, so just so it's there ready. Finish off the top half of the fence all the way around the back there, marry that up and get the trellis done, and then also I'll probably sort out this corner a little bit, just tidy it up, because I've got loads of offcuts of these bits of wood that I've been doing the fencing, so I can use that to face it up. I'm half contemplating actually moving that water butt out the front, A, to give me the space there for a bar, and B, because of the way it's all rigged up, it's going to be rigged up to 3 or 4 out the front anyway, so what's the difference between 3 or 4 or 4 or 5 of them? So yeah, I might do that as it's not in there permanently yet. But yeah, other than that, we're all going well. Let's have another look at the old Wollemi. Very nice form to it. Looking forward to getting that one in the ground. So yeah, hope everyone's doing all right and having a good day, and I will see you on the next one. Ta-ra for now.